Artifice is noun. A clever trick or skillful deception used to achieve one's goal. A cleverly devised or contrived scheme or device. The artist's work blended natural elements with artifice, creating a unique and intriguing aesthetic. The magician used various artifices to make his illusions seem more convincing. The novel's plot relied heavily on artifice rather than believable character development. The advertisement used all kinds of artifices to make their product seem more appealing. The company was accused of using artifice to manipulate their financial statements and deceive investors. Empiricism as noun. Acquiring knowledge through evidence and observation. Philosophical belief based on sensory experience. The scientific method is based on empiricism, which means that knowledge comes from observation and experimentation. The psychologist's research was based on empiricism, using data and observations to draw conclusions about human behavior. Some philosophers argue that empiricism is the only valid approach to understanding the world. Empiricism has been a cornerstone of modern medicine, allowing doctors to diagnose and treat patients based on objective evidence. The debate between empiricism and rationalism has been going on for centuries in the field of philosophy. Peruse as verb. To go through or scan a document or text in a methodical and detailed way. To read or examine carefully and thoroughly, especially in a leisurely or attentive manner. She perused the menu before deciding what to order. I need to peruse this report before the meeting. The lawyer perused the contract carefully before signing it. The detective perused the crime scene for any clues. The lawyer perused the documents before presenting the case. Bellicose as adjective. It can also be used to describe a person who is easily angered or quick to fight. The word is often used to describe nations, groups, or individuals that are seen as provocative or expansionist. His bellicose rhetoric made it clear that he was not interested in peaceful negotiations. The country's bellicose foreign policy led to strained relationships with its neighbors. The coach criticized the player for his bellicose behavior on the field. The political party's bellicose stance on immigration was widely criticized. The general's bellicose orders led to a disastrous military campaign.
Enervate as verb. To make someone feel drained or exhausted. To reduce or weaken energy, vitality, or strength. The hot weather had a tendency to enervate even the most active individuals. The repetitive nature of the job can enervate workers, leading to burnout. The disease left her feeling enervated and weak. The constant stress of the situation began to enervate his spirit. The long journey enervated the travelers, leaving them exhausted. Ostracize as verb. To exclude or banish someone from a social group or community. To reject or isolate someone from a society or community. She was ostracized by her former friends after she spoke out against their behavior. The new employee was ostracized by his colleagues for being different. The community ostracized the family after they were accused of a crime. He was ostracized from the team after he refused to follow the coach's orders. The student was ostracized by her classmates after she made a mistake in front of the whole class.
Sanction as verb. To give official authorization or approval for an action or decision. To impose a measure to enforce compliance or punish disobedience. The government sanctioned the construction of the new bridge. The organization sanctioned the use of the new software. The referee sanctioned the player for unsportsmanlike behavior. The court sanctioned the lawyer for misconduct. The teacher sanctioned the use of extra credit for improving grades.
Upbraid as verb, to express dissatisfaction, disappointment, or disapproval in a harsh or critical manner, to scold, rebuke, or reprimand someone harshly. Jane upbraided her sister for borrowing her dress without permission. The coach upbraided the players for their lack of effort during the game. The boss upbraided the employee for being consistently late to work. The teacher upbraided the student for plagiarizing their essay. The customer upbraided the waiter for bringing the wrong order.
Defray as verb, to pay or provide payment for costs, expenses, etc. To relieve someone of financial obligation. The company agreed to defray the cost of the employee's training program. The scholarship helped defray the expenses of the student's college education. The fundraiser was able to defray the medical expenses of the child's treatment. The government offered to defray the costs of the city's infrastructure repair. The organization provided a grant to defray the expenses of the research project.
Impudent as adjective, boldly rude or disrespectful in behavior or speech, lacking respect for others, especially in regards to social norms or manners. She made impudent comments during the meeting, which did not go over well. He showed an impudent attitude toward his teacher, which landed him in detention. Her impudent behavior toward the officer resulted in a ticket for disorderly conduct. He was fired from his job for his impudent behavior toward customers. The student's impudent response to the teacher's question caused a stir in the classroom.
Evasive as adjective, avoiding direct confrontation or a clear answer, tending to avoid, dodge, or elude a question, issue, or responsibility. The politician's answers were evasive and did not directly address the question. The suspect's alibi was evasive and lacked detail. She gave an evasive response when asked about her whereabouts the night before. His evasive behavior suggested that he had something to hide. The company's evasive tactics made it difficult to get a clear understanding of their finances. Languid as adjective, lacking energy, vitality, or enthusiasm, sluggish, slow-moving, or slow-paced. The patient's breathing was slow and languid. She spoke in a languid tone, as if she was bored. The heat made him feel languid and lethargic. The atmosphere of the room was languid and humid. Her languid movements suggested that she was tired or unwell.
Maverick as noun, an independent person who does not conform to established norms or rules and is often seen as unorthodox or non-conventional. An unbranded animal, especially a calf, that is not under the control of any particular owner. He's known as a maverick in the political arena, often taking positions that defy party lines. The CEO was a maverick who made bold decisions that led the company to success. She's a maverick in the world of fashion, constantly pushing boundaries. The artist was a maverick in his field, creating work that was both unconventional and groundbreaking. The athlete was a maverick who refused to conform to the traditional training methods. Chary as adjective, being cautious, careful, or guarded in giving or allowing something. It can be used to describe someone who is reluctant, reserved, or hesitant. He was chary of trusting people he didn't know very well. The company was chary about releasing sensitive financial information. The dog was chary of strangers and would bark at anyone who approached the house. The politician was chary of making any promises that he couldn't keep. She was chary of investing her money in the stock market.
Discreet as adjective, characterized by being prudent, cautious, and reserved in behavior and speech, not showy, flashy, or attention-seeking. The private investigator was very discreet in his inquiries, never revealing his true identity to anyone. She made sure to dress in a discreet manner for the funeral, opting for simple black clothing and minimal jewelry. The company's management took a discreet approach to the layoffs, informing employees individually rather than making a public announcement. The hotel staff was trained to be discreet when dealing with guests' personal information, ensuring that it was never shared with anyone who didn't have a legitimate need to know. The artist signed her work with a discreet signature in the corner, so as not to detract from the beauty of the piece itself. Construe as verb. To give a particular meaning or interpretation to. To interpret or understand the meaning of. The judge construes the law to mean that the defendant is guilty. The teacher construes the student's silence as a sign of boredom. The audience construes the comedian's jokes as offensive and insensitive. The analyst construes the data to suggest that the company's profits are declining. The historian construes the evidence to support the theory that the ancient civilization was highly advanced. Meander is noun, a path that follows a winding course, especially a river, a winding or twisting movement. The river's meander through the valley created a picturesque landscape. The tour guide led us on a meander through the old city, pointing out historical landmarks along the way. The author's writing style was characterized by a meander of ideas and thoughts, making it difficult to follow the main point. The bike trail offered a leisurely meander through the countryside, allowing riders to take in the scenery at a relaxed pace. The artist's painting depicted a meander of colors and shapes, evoking a sense of movement and energy. Miser as noun. A person who is extremely unwilling to spend money or resources, often hoarding wealth or possessions. An individual who lives a frugal lifestyle, avoiding waste and extravagance, and saving as much money as possible. He's not really a miser, he's just very careful with his spending. My grandfather was known as a miser because he never spent money on anything unnecessary. The character in the book was portrayed as a miser who hoarded his wealth and never spent it. She accused her landlord of being a miser for never repairing anything in her apartment. The business tycoon was infamous for being a miserly employer who never paid his workers well. Irrevocable as adjective. Final and unalterable, binding. Unable to be changed, altered, revoked, or reversed. Signing the contract was an irrevocable decision. The court's decision was irrevocable and could not be appealed. His resignation was irrevocable. The damage caused by the storm was irrevocable. The decision to terminate the project was irrevocable.
Antedate as noun. A deviation from the common rule or standard, to proceed in time, to date back to an earlier period. The antedate of the manuscript was crucial in determining its historical significance. The antedate on the check indicated an earlier issuance date. The discovery of the fossil provided an antedate to previously known timelines of species evolution. The antedate of the artifact was established through carbon dating. A reliable antedate was necessary to authenticate the age of the ancient sculpture.
Ready to boost your English or ace the GRE? Meet the GRE Vocabulary app, a fun and effective way to master language. Learn advanced words with examples and audio. Master idioms, proverbs, and phrasal verbs. Enjoy quizzes, flashcards, and pronunciation tests. Customize your practice by difficulty or focus. Translate into 100+ languages with ease. Did you learn new words? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share my channel. Download now and start your journey to vocabulary mastery.